what caused this rise of rationality? What was it supposed to do? And then what are some of the problems with it? Why do you think these technocrats started using it and created this dictatorship of reason?
Well, I mean, I spent a lot of time in Asia, so I have opinions, not so much on South Asia. I don't know India as well, and Pakistan. I know them well as well. But I spent a lot of time in China, never enough, but a lot of time in Southeast Asia and things. So sitting outside of the West and spending almost all my time with people who were not brought up in the Western canon and came at things in very different ways, you really begin to notice the tendency of Westerners, Europe, North America, Australia, New Zealand. I mean, the Western canon, the obsession we have with hanging on to something, and we say this is the truth, and what we got rid of was ideology. Of course, what we're saying is the truth is the new ideology. And I can't think of a more ideologically bound group than the Anglos. I don't know, we can't say Anglo-Saxons because it's not that. Anglophones. That whole Anglo culture is obsessed by having a truth. And that is ideology, having a truth. And once you've got the truth in place, then everything is done to reinforce the truth. And everything else is damaged by it. And in order to protect the truth, you have the Inquisition. You have or whatever the modern equivalent of the Inquisition is. You have death camps. You have, there's a long list of things that we've done while claiming all the time that we're the most civilized and the most decent and, knowledgeable and so on. It was, after all, the 20th century, dominated by us, was almost certainly the most violent century in the history of the world, in which more people were intentionally killed in the most original ways. I mean, really, we went to a lot of trouble to figure out new ways to kill people. Now, I mean, nobody had even tried to do stuff like that since the early Middle Ages, mid-Middle Ages, when, there was a lot of work done on torture. I've written about that, and it was quite interesting doing the research on torture. No one wants to talk about the details of Western specific interests in how to torture people. Particularly the church took a big interest in that, the Catholic Church, the only church at the time. So anyway, I'm taking you way off topic. But rationality was the truth of I don't know what I said then, but 300-400 years when it was absolutely the reigning power. You can follow its arc. And out of that, of course, came a lot of really wonderful things, certainly a great deal of breakthroughs in terms of thought, but also in technology and organization. But parallel to that came the most terrible things, and often the same people doing both. And it's interesting when you think about that. It's this astonishing thing that at the same time, these completely opposite tendencies.
Voltaire had said, let's set aside these novels called systems.
Yes.
And to rise up, let's descend into ourselves. In Dante's The Divine Comedy, Ulysses says, consider your origins. You were not made to live as brutes, but to follow virtue and knowledge. There was a reason why we went into this age of enlightenment, this rise of virtue, knowledge, rationality, because before that, there were these grand philosophical systems that Voltaire is talking about, religious dogma, aristocracies, monarchies, pretty anti-scientific, all of these that led into, let's say, the 30 Years' War, for example. So there was a reason why it emerged, right? So there were some positives that came out of the...
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it didn't come as fast as all. I mean, reason has been around as an admirable quality for a very, very long time. And,
right.
And when it wasn't the dominant quality, and in a funny kind of way, it maybe was at its best, because it didn't have the power. And so you could see how people were working it out and writing about it and talking about it. And a good king, what was a good king, and what was a good religious leader, and what was so interesting was that people who were leaders of faith the good ones talked enormous amount about rationality. popes and so on. But they, of course, didn't see rationality as an ideology. They saw it as one of the elements in human life, which had a role to play. And so they wouldn't, I've done my list in Voltaire's Bastards of, human qualities, or maybe I did it in On Equilibrium, actually. I did it. Of what are the lists of human qualities. So I've organized it in a certain way, but of course, before me, there were lots of people who came up with lists of human qualities, which would cross over with what I did. And they might be 3 essential things or 5 essential things or 8 essential things. Don't ask me to give examples. I could look it up for you, but I've forgotten now. And so I came up with 6, and I thought that was the way to make the argument on equilibrium. And in that, what I loved about it was I'd already written Voltaire's Bastards, and I was concerned, how do I write a book where I don't attack reason too much? So people misunderstand what I'm saying. They think I'm anti-rational. I'm not. And so what I did was I decided I would put these 6 human qualities in alphabetical order in the book. There's a perfectly good way of doing it, in English anyway. It changes in different languages. And so that allowed me to put common sense first and ethics second. Ethics, and then imagination, like creativity, and then intuition, and then memory, and then you end with reason. So what it meant was I'd already been able to make these full arguments on these other human qualities before getting to reason. And so it's not that reason was what was left, but that I wasn't put in the modern trap where everything had to be justified. Well, is it rational? You actually made all these arguments. Intuition. But there's a whole thing on intuition. Memory, there's a whole thing on the importance of memory. Ethics. And then if you do it that way, the idea was that, people start to realize that rationality is extremely important. In fact, rationality is just as important as ethics or common sense or memory, but not more important.
Yeah, this is an important distinction because often when you try to look up critics of the work, pushback that you receive, they often try to say that, you've treated rationality as this ultimate catch-all or the ultimate source of all the problems. But the distinction you're making is it's a tool. It's not the source of all the problems. It depends on how you use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so a lot of writing books is figuring out the order. It's the same in a novel. I mean, what order you tell the story. And I mean, I'm not the only person who has written virtually a whole book and then change the order of the chapters. I mean, lots of people do that. Do you start with the end or the beginning? Do you start with the middle? Then where do you go? And so it was this wonderful little tool that came to me that just by taking the 6 human qualities and putting them in alphabetical order, rationality was at the end. Not because it was least important, but just people were forced to read several hundred pages. If they read the book, it's forced to read several hundred pages without considering on human qualities and how to act as a human and how to do good things as a human and how to be effective as a human without considering reason. And at the end comes reason. So it was a way of violently attacking what's taught in the universities without saying a word about them.